Why, hello there, fellow wandering nomads. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to the Wandering Village Tutorial Series, Episode 3, Spore Clouds. My spending habits are, pretty meager. Like, if I have ripped clothing, oh, look! I just keep wearing it. Most of my shirts are from, like, pre-Y2K, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It's all saving up for this guy, and the other Redling. That's right, you. You and your vet bills, Jesus. Yoda has, like, Frankenstein stitches on either side of his neck right now. It's kind of funny. It's hard to see the one on the other side. He just had some skin issues that needed to get, you know, whatever, stitched and removed, and old dog skin syndrome. You know how it is. Hey, bud. There you are. Alright, my scavenging party from that dune is taking a while. There is a toxic spore cloud that traverses our path up ahead we have to be mindful of. I'm doing a really poor job at actually housing these people and feeding them, so hopefully getting into this this new biome, I'll be able to actually start feeding people well. Because, as I said, I'm doing a terrible job of it, and I fully acknowledge that. Thank you, the one berry bush that I got going. So I'll probably consider putting another berry gatherer over here once we have the path built. But not before that. Anbu's pooping. Nice. Oh, here, finally, a decision. So every now and then when you are on expedition, you are given these choices. And this choice is looking for protection from the sun. Your scavengers walk under a cliff formation. There you meet a tribe performing a dance ritual. I can either ask them for shelter and offer them some water, perhaps with something in return. I can join the dance party, or I can just look for resources elsewhere. So I'm going to give you probably not even a full minute to vote on this, but have you choose. Having played a lot, I know the results of these. They're somewhat predetermined, so, you know. Alright, looks like we're dance partying. And I still gained 31 water from the sand dune, but no sand. But high productivity got triggered. So for the next 3 days, my people have a 30% productivity boost as a result of taking part of that dance party. Nice boon, I would say. Oh, and now let's deploy our people again. Our wood situation is still pretty terrible. But heading into the jungle, there might be wood that we can collect. There's also poison nomads up ahead, so I'm going to start polling way ahead of time for those poison nomads that are crossing our path way up ahead. So many partially built things, it's ridiculous. Haven't really been prioritizing what we do, and it shows. A lot of what we had queued up is almost done, though. The mycologist is nearly done. The feeding trebuchet is nearly done. The Unbu doctor is half done. Oh, good, Anbu, good. I asked him to lie down, and he decided to lie down. because it's a safe spot. Actually, the safe spots in the arid biome doesn't really matter because there really isn't poison here anyway. So I'm going to ask him to walk. Is this game procedural? It is, with some predetermined main storyline aspects. Ambu's getting pretty hungry, so if I don't happen upon food soon, I'm going to have to start prioritizing feeding Anbu, I think. So get the feeding trebuchet up, get the mycologist up, and get Anbu kitchen built as well. Alright. Scout team. Let's go out to that dune. The spice must flow. And there's the feeding trebuchet. So the way these work, I don't have any food for him right yet, but it only works when Anbu is walking, and you slingshot food that Anbu can catch in his mouth, like some sort of dog party trick. Why do we need a lot of sand, you ask, Sinjin? You need it to make glass, and a lot of the advanced technologies require a lot of glass. So that's why sand is so important. Oh man, I am staying pink for a while now. Cheers. Thank you. Alright, this mycologist is almost built. And then as soon as we pass in formally into the jungle, which you can see is just up ahead, I'll be able to start farming beets. And next research, I'm going to pick for myself. I'm going to do compost heap. So we just got the bile extractor. And you can see that there's only one spot that we can build the bile extractor, which is just here. And what this does is it extracts bile from Anbu's gallbladder, and it does not harm him. Important to note, sometimes when you extract resources from Anbu, it's painful, it hurts Anbu, but the bile extractor does not harm him. Gross, you say? We're already collecting his poop. A little bit of biles, you know, it's not that bad. It's just bile, bruh. Alright, let's get those beets. We got the beets. We're gonna be Arby's of beets soon. I'm gonna change this walk path a little bit. Oh, and we are in poisonous air. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to go red briefly. So this is one of the terrible things to run into, which is the Spore Cloud. So this is one of the main threats of the game. And it's gonna wash out my audio and blow out my ears. What ends up happening is horrible poisonous spores will start to sprout all over Anbu's back, and I'm gonna need to fight them like crazy. So I'm gonna employ a few more village doctors, because trust me, I'm gonna need them. Let's see. Carpenter, you finish. Just finish. Done. Lock. And stonecutter, nope. Researcher, nope. I am firing a whole bunch of people because we are going to need all hands on deck to deal with the spores. And Anbu is not trusting me right now, so he's going to slowly waltz through this spore cloud. Thanks, Anbu. I super appreciate it. Dude. Anbu the dude. So let's see if we can find these spores. On easier difficulties, it will actually show you where the spores are. On harder difficulties, you do not see them. You have to go, it doesn't like warn you specifically. So here is a poison berry bush. What ends up happening is it becomes infected and then it spreads and spreads and spreads like creep from the Zerg. And if you don't deal with it, your whole village gets creep zerged and you die. So what I have to do here is find each individual little poison nodule. Oh, here's a whole dang tree that got creeped. And issue them the cut and high priority kill order. Because the longer they take to do this, in fact, no researching. The longer they take to do this, the more it will spread, and the more that it spreads, the more that I'm dead. So what I've done here is I've basically fired everybody that was working to force everybody into being into general labor, so that I can focus more of my people, in fact, forget the farm, more of my people into plant cutting. Think of it as kind of like a RimWorld blight, but way more dangerous because the blight also poisons you. So like a toxic cloud plus blight or something like that. Not a good time. Move, people, move! And then the other issue is when you cut them, your people do get sick from trying to get rid of it. Later on in the tech tree, you get methods to be able to burn the infection instead, but I don't have that yet, so I'm stuck doing the trim and cut medieval way. One good news is when you set up a poison tree or bush or whatever infection spot to be dealt with, when it spreads, it will also automatically spread that priority to wherever it's spread to. So, for instance, if this poison plant infects this tree will be triggered to be a high priority cut as well. So you don't have to keep chasing it. You just have to find the initial infection sources. Infection sources that are far away from natural resources like this one are a lot less dangerous than like this one, because this one is next to my berry farm. So as the bushes get infected, the amount of berries that I will subsequently harvest from that collector gets reduced. Alright. We have a lot of people waiting for the village doctor right now, because they're getting sick as a result. I think we're out of the Spore Cloud. Yes, we are formally out of the Spore Cloud, but we just have yet to deal with all the spores. So... Oh, you're sick, darn. Yep, and you can see it is spreading virulently down here in the forest. Part of the reason is this forest is just so hard to get to. And another reason is my villagers are getting sick as they are traveling there. AKA, it is not a good time. Dang, there's just so many. Yeah, there are. And it's spreading, and spreading, and spreading. I didn't see that one because it was behind a tree. You have to zoom in to see him. Look how he's smiling as he's cutting it down. Oh, look at you. Keep cutting it. Rip and tear. Alright, nomads. Pick them up. 3 nomads, all poisoned, has joined. We're going to need these last 2 houses for the nomads to live in. But these nomads can help me deal with the infection. The infection's actually almost dealt with because I tagged it pretty early on. We contained it pretty well. Most of it, the infection is just down here in the bottom half of Ombu. The infections near the berry bushes have been cleaned up. Doctors can get sick too. Everybody can get sick. Even Ambu. Ambu is right now 34% poisoned. But I do have 15 people working to clear the infection, so... Oh, nah, that's not what I meant to do. Let's go ahead and get farmers again, because I'm going to need food, especially as I am expanding the population. And just keep an eye on it, making sure that this gets all trimmed up and out. What happens if Ambu gets 100% sick? He dies, you lose. That's what happens. If you starve him to death, he dies, you lose. If he loses all his health, he dies, you lose. If he gets fully poisoned, he dies, you lose. Uh-oh, I didn't see this. All right, scavenger hut. I will send out to a ruined settlement, hopefully getting bread to be able to feed me because I don't have a lot of food right now. But we are back to farming. Kind of back to normalcy a little bit. Oh, another decision. This is more settlers. I'm going to pick them up as well. So those settlers were found on my expedition out to the ruined settlement. So I'm going to go out to the other ruined... Nah. Yeah, I'm going to go out to the other ruined settlement. That means we need even more houses. All right, let's do a sweep to make sure that all of the infection I have queued to clear. So it's those two that I think are the only ones left, but it could be wrong about that. Anbu is currently eating. He found a feeding spot, which is really good because he was very hungry and I have not been processing food to feed him. We are starting to plant mushrooms here to be able to make Anbu food to feed him, but it takes a while for the mycologist to make enough mushrooms to feed Anbu. So that's not going to be a useful method to feed him for a bit. And I think this is the last infection here, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Looking good. We survived that spore swarm. There are worse events than that, though, I will add. That one is not so bad compared to some of the others that you could hit with. So something else that I don't have right now is research, so I'm going to unlock the research buildings so I can continue researching. I needed to employ basically everybody to cut trees, as you saw. It was necessary to go into emergency mode and have everybody do that together. I'm also going to open up the stonecutter and carpenter back up, and that leaves me with 5 general workers. I think it's also probably about time that I have a general work post. So I'm going to put the general workers post here. Oh, we scavenged some bread. Nice. Pretty soon here, I'm going to have to make the decision of going north or south. And you all can agree or veto once I do that. Herbalist looks pretty good. We've got water there. My college looks pretty good. Beet farm is doing what it needs to. I'm going to make sure that there's enough plots. I think at this point, once I have these slabs and planks, I might get a second kitchen to be able to have 2 varieties of food at once. Are there settlers that you can scavenge? Yes. Every now and then when you go to nomad settlements, you can ask them to join. And there's also special events. Like, one of the ruined settlements I would head to had 2 settlers that wanted to join us. That was a result of that. In fact, we're going to go to this ruined settlement. Maybe it'll have settlers, maybe it won't. If I tell Anbu to lie down right now, it's also possible that these settlers are walking towards me and will reach Anbu and ask to join. But it looks like they're pretty far out, so I doubt they'll get to me in time. There are ways later in the game when you have more research unlocked to be able to tell Anbu not to move very much. Like, for instance, if I gave him laxatives and he had to poop his brains out, he wouldn't be mobile. He would be stuck on the porcelain throne of Anbu and would stay in one spot for a while. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to have him... No, he doesn't trust my commands. Darn it, because it's highly poisoned here in the jungle on the ground, so we're getting poisoned as we're waiting for those nomads. But yeah, no joke, you can tell Anbu to poop his brains out. Force feed him laxatives until he takes a lot of dumps. And sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. Alright, my stone is really, really, really bad. We're going to need a lot of stone. And some wood. He's probably ignoring me. He's likely ignoring me because I just issued 2 contrary commands kind of at the same time. I told him to sit down and also walk. So he listened to the first one, but not the second. Which is fair. It's a very fair critique. Alright, so the bile constructor is done being built. And what this does is it automatically extracts bile from his gallbladder. And it doesn't require people to work there. And it depends on his heart rate. So the higher his heart rate, the more bile that we get. And his heart rate's up here. So when he's running or he's on energy boosters or something like that, he'll have a much higher heart rate. Yeah, it's beat per minute. Very, very, very slow heart rate. Okay, well, I don't really want to walk through a poisoned forest, but you guys can always veto me, so I'm going to ask him to go north. And you can either agree that it goes north, or send me to the poison forest. It's up to you. Hey, he complies. Nice. Thank you, Anbu. And thank you, Anbu viewers, for not sending me into a poison forest all by my lonesome. Alright, stone is definitely a bottleneck right now. So if my scavengers can scavenge up some mines or quarries, that would be awesome. I don't think there are... Yeah, there's one quarry way out that way, but that's going to be a long time to get there and back. And he's getting sleepy. So he's going to sleep. Night, Ambu. Okay, here we are. I encountered a group of settlers that were in the ruined village, and I can either pick them up or send them away. This is going to be a very brief poll of whether I pick them up or not, so vote quickly. But this is exactly... I can also postpone it, but this is exactly what I mean, where sometimes when you are on a scavenging hunt, you happen upon people. Not, dude. Yeah, picking them up. Okay, one more person. I have housing for 32. I have 30 people, so I don't need to build any more houses just yet. And I'm going to send my scouting party out to this quarry, because I really, really, really need stone. Wow, my scavengers here are all poisoned too. That's what happens. Okay, we are just about done with the compost heap. Come on. There it is. And research tree. I have 1 knowledge. I might pick this one and have you vote on the next one. I'm going to pick decontaminator. And then after that, what do you want to go? So here's the choices. If you vote for village, I'll probably either get corn. I'll probably get corn or tomato. Likely corn. Corn is a crop that's good for heat. It's a heat-resistant crop. If you vote resources, I'll probably get sawmill. If you vote Anbu, I will either get Sleep Command or Pet Anbu. So now you know what to vote on. And there it is. So here's the Anbu kitchen. The Anbu kitchen takes 20 mushrooms and turns it into catapulted food. I'm going to hire 1 kitchen worker. I don't think I need 2 at the moment. I'm still, as far as like food is concerned, super struggle bussing. Let me switch over to beet soups, see if that makes any difference. I've been waiting on the second farm as well, but the second farm is waiting on stone that I need to mine up. We could result in harvesting Anbu spikes for stone. It's a quick fix, but it does piss him off royally, so I'm trying to avoid that. Because I don't want to make an enemy out of a multi-million pound Godzilla. Some freakishly large kaiju. No thanks. Hard pass on that. And here's the compost heap. And put that right there. So this compost heap uses dung to create compost, uses fertilizer or biogas. And then next to that, I will put a materials storage. I jump to the next pop level. Oh yeah, I'm at settlement, not camp. They're gonna get pissed with me, but you know, can't help them at the moment. I have 6 general workers. Oh, I never made the worker post. All these things require stone. I like how my farmers have just been farming around this stone that's so blatantly in the middle of their way. Like, oh, yep, this is fine. Alright, let's get this stone is high priority so that we can get back to actually building some useful things. What is bile used for? Bile is used for in the laboratory and is fuel by decontaminators. So what a decontaminator is, because I'm currently researching that, it is someone who is employed to fight the spore infections that infect the back of Anbu, and they work way more efficiently than manually cutting plants. So that's why I want them, is it's a really powerful tool to fight those infections. And you guys wanted Anbu research. So let me go out to this ruined settlement and... Oh, decontaminator is still going. But next I'll do an Anbu research. Okay, here's yet another farm, and I am going to... Sorry, Mother Tree, but you're going to have to die. I'm going to employ... Can I do 4 people? I could. You have 4 people here to plant beets as well. I want a lot of beets. Okay, next research. Do pet Anbu. I now have 1 Anbu food made from the Anbu kitchen. That doesn't fit. Anbu spikes in the way. I am making a net positive of food now, finally, with that second farm. And thanks to the jungle biome, the air wells are producing plenty of water for the herbalist, the mycologist, and the 2 other farms, the beet farms. Once we get this path built, I'm definitely going to set up another berry gatherer out here. 98% efficiency sounds pretty good to me. That sounds kind of nice. I only have 2 in the free workforce, so is there anyone I can cut? I have a lot of herbs right now, so I'm going to cut an herbalist, because I don't need 60 herbs, is kind of a lot. I'm going to cut a mycologist, because we at least have 1 ball of food. But I'm going to keep my farmers full tilt going farming and my researchers as well. Many of my villagers are poisoned. I know. That's why I have 2 doctors. 1 out of 15 villagers is a doctor. Yeah, I could cut the hornblower for now as well, because I have no commands to blow. Alright, so this worker post that I just built, it is sort of employs the people that don't have specific jobs, and you can tell them to focus on different things. So I could tell them to be general workers, which is what I'm going to do, and it gives them a little bit of a movement speed bonus to the people working there, so it's a good way to have an umbrella. So for instance, if I needed resources really quickly, I could tell these guys, hey, go be harvesters, and they're going to go run around and grab the stone and the wood that I need. But for now, I just want them as general workers. And Anbu is now heading north. Hopefully, it is an easier path than south. Ooh, 19 bread. Then we'll go out to this mine. This mine takes about 2 days round trip, though. It's kind of way out there. Ooh, the compost heap is coming together. Good. Yeah, so I have 5 general work. Well, there we go. I have 5 general workers. I think. I should. 1 just got employed as compost heaping, though. So compost heap allows you to either make compost or biogas from dung. So I'm going to have them make biogas. But I'm not going to keep them deployed until the dung collector is done. So I'll raise the priority for the dung collector so we can get that going. So here you can see Abu's poison level is getting really high. So it's time to highly prioritize the Anbu Doctor. And then I'm also going to launch Anbu some food. So for that, I quickly lock and unlock the worker post to move the person that was working as a general worker over to the feeding trebuchet. And then the feeding trebuchet person, Mistro here, is going to grab the food from the Anbu kitchen, load it into the trebuchet, and launch it at Anbu so Anbu can eat. So out here, as long as Anbu's walking, we can launch food at him. And you'll see that in a minute. So here is his hunger rate. He's at 41%. And when we feed him, and it will be very obvious when he feeds, his hunger will go down. So the next thing to do is to deal with his high poison. For that, I am going to make sure that we have another herbalist, 2 more herbalists working on those herbs. And it sounds like the catapult just went, so I'll take a look at that in a second. Yep, there it goes. Nom nom. Mushroom ball. And you'll see his hunger drop in a second. Because we're not... Oh, I guess there is a feeding spot up ahead. But still, it builds up my trust with him, so he's more likely to listen to my commands as we build rep with him. So now he's only hunger at 21% rather than 41%. So if I want that wooden plank, I'm going to employ 1 more carpenter. Thank you for tuning in to The Wandering Village, which originally streamed live on Twitch September 10th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that the series has since ended. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rodamont.com has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Twitch subscribers that showed up to support me during this live stream, viewers like you on YouTube, and my Patreon patrons on patreon.com/Rodamont. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.